My name is Rita, full name Margarita. You know me well, probably, if you are a subscriber to this channel, or you just meet my channel and me with this stream just for occasionally. What I want to do in the series of streams recently, you know me well by my videos. What's new? Right now I'm taking course, a long course, 5 months of to be a guide in Moscow. Uh, to become a guide in Moscow in Russian, I need to pass the exam and to be professional guide, to lead excursions in Moscow. If you want to lead the excursions and to be a guide, translator from actually in any foreign language in Moscow, you need to pass another exam. And in order mm, to prepare to the exam, I wanted to get one more course. It's in English. It's for translators, for guides in foreign languages. For me, I wanted to take the course in English. And I took an interview with the teachers recently, and their reply was that my English is not enough to take the course. I was offended a little bit. It was so disappointing for me, as the interview, it was in such a bad manner, old-fashioned, and old-fashioned by old-fashioned I mean not the fashion, but their style and the empathy, no empathy from the teacher. Their old guy, quite quite old guy, he was so offensive, and after each my word he interrupted my speech, every single word, and corrected the mistakes. So even at the beginning of the interview, I felt myself so shy, so tiny, uh, absolutely unprofessional in English, in Moscow history and culture. And I actually I did so many mistakes that probably I wouldn't have done in any other situation, just because of the attitude of the person who took the exam. Later on, the course, they answered that my English is not enough and they don't let me enter the course commercial. By the way, the course, it takes 1 year, almost 1 year, from now till June. Yes, till June. And my goal was to take the course to upgrade my English and some terminology in English in terms of the city. It means that the course, it includes museums, churches, etc. Anyway, Just yesterday, mm, I asked about the final reply and the final, mm, let's say, the final, yes, the final reply from the school, and they answered that not for this year. They don't take me in. That's why actually I am a little bit overlapping the problem of their mm, how to say, I see that some of you are joining the stream and some of you are getting out. Actually, I didn't expect any of you at this stream, as I am profound YouTuber on my Russian channel, and I do stream in my channel in Russian. I have two channels. This one in English, a Russian girl in English, and one more in Russian. And in Russian, I have the channel with 4K subscribers, and I do stream a lot from different points and from different places in Russia. From Moscow, I made a stream from Sergiev Posad. It's the first town inside the Golden Ring. Probably you know the Golden Ring. But by the way, on this channel in English, I made I made a video, a short form shorts video just yesterday about the Golden Ring. What's the Golden Ring is? The Golden Ring is officially, first of all, it's the destination, 8 destinations, 8 towns, not far away from Moscow, and the destination between each of 8 towns with old Russian history and culture, it's not longer than 1 hour traveling by car or by bus. And all these towns inside the Golden Ring, they are full of history, of culture, and they are old Russian places, which are interesting for tourists, from internal Russian tourists and from foreigners. So I did make a stream today as I visited Sergiev Posad. The Sergiev Posad is 65 kilometers from Moscow, and if you remember my short about the way I forgot the way to Lavra. Lavra is the main church and the main monastery in Russia. There are 2 Lavras in Russia, and there are 2 more in Ukraine. 2 main, let's say, monastery churches, like the main over all others. Actually, what I wanted to say, to make the long story short, I make a lot of streams in my Russian channel, and I know that that the vertical form video for stream is good for watching. So I am expecting a lot of watchers and a lot of listeners in YouTube for vertical short stream, but there are nobody for horizontal form of video in streams. And right now I see that some of you, you are joining and then you disconnect. Probably it's not interesting for you. It's okay. You can disconnect easily, and I don't mind. And I'm surprised that some of you are watching this stream in the horizontal form, as the algorithms of YouTube, they don't provide you, they don't offer you watchers horizontal streams. That's why my expectation was to start the series of videos streaming with myself, reading out loud this book. Even if you are Russian, I guess you haven't read this book yet. Please, one person who is watching this video, would you be so kind to leave a comment whether, by the way, I need to one more disappointing thing about horizontal videos in stream. I cannot see your comments easily, as if I stream vertical, it's easy to read all the comments. If I stream horizontal, no special place for comments, so I need to read them one by one. I don't know what to do, how to read the comments. Okay, let it be like it would be. It's okay. So my goal is to upgrade my English. I thought that my English is so, and at least it's enough to get the course, to be a certificated guide in Moscow. But unfortunately, they gave me C mark or D mark, I don't know. Anyway, what I do in order to upgrade, to improve my English, I make videos for this channel in English every day. I read articles. I read articles mainly connected to my work. So it's the articles in IT, in something around business, and I don't take lessons with teacher, and I don't attend any courses. Actually, I don't want to take lessons with a teacher, as I understand that all I can do is the discipline to study English properly. And I don't want to spend money on teacher. Actually, I think that if I study myself every day, then I will improve my English. But I don't have enough discipline. That's why my thought is to read out loud, maybe if I'm strong enough, if I follow the challenge every day in streams, in video streams, on my YouTube channel. So so long speech. I don't want this to be so long. Too long speech. Sorry for that. Probably it will be uploaded. Yes, it will be uploaded for definitely. Anyway, I was thinking to make long form videos to upload them just in usual manner, but for that I need to film myself first, then to cut video, to keep video inside the memory, inside the phone's memory, and it's not convenient. That's why I decided to read out loud in English in stream. Then, what I thought about the book I should read. Last time I read for you in long horizontal form videos fairy tales by Bajov, and they were not popular at all within you. I guess you didn't like them in my reading. Why? Because the fairy tales by Bajov, they are authentic, but they are old enough and they are not close to our lives. And the accent, the dialect there is so specific, as it's the Urals dialect, and that's why the translator who translated Bajov's fairy tales into English, the translator used not the British, not the modern English, and even not how to say, by the way, the word to English, like Hochdeutsch in German, and in English I forgot the name. Anyway, the translator used Welsh dialect or maybe Scottish dialect with some endings. No, they are appropriate completely, but they are not so easily comprehensive. So even for English speaking people, I understand that my English is not native speaker at all, and probably it's charming a little bit, but it's not ideal. And if I read a book in some dialect, probably it's not a good option for listener. That's why I decided to take another book, and this is the book I decided to take for my challenge to read out loud in streams. I hope the streams I will do every day. Let's see. A few words about this book. The author Konstantin Paustovsky, and by the way, the horizontal long form stream, I expected nobody to listen or to watch, and thus I am not shy. But I see that some of you are connecting from time to time. It's up to you whether to connect or disconnect. It's okay. as my English is not very good. But anyway, the goal is to improve my English by reading out loud. Konstantin Paustovsky is the writer from the 20th century. This book, you see the size of it. It's called The Novel About My Life. The Novel About My Life. I have it in Russian. I read it twice. First time 4 years ago when I visited hiking track in Rязань region. There is Мещерская area in Rязань. By the way, Mещерская area is not only in Rязань region, but also in Moscow region, in Vladimir region, and Rязань, Tula probably not. I'm a little bit nervous right now as I see that you are still listening me. Paustovsky, what I can say about him. These days he is one of my favorite writers, and for sure his Russian, his language is so lyric, and the books he wrote about nature, about history, about people, it's not poetry at all, but you read it as a poetry. And he was a kind of philosopher, and the books by Konstantin Paustovsky, the novels, the stories, short form, long form, they are romantic and kind. And I just today, 1 hour ago, I downloaded the book Novel About My Life by Konstantin Paustovsky in English. And you know, the actress, worldwide actress Marlene Dietrich, you know her well. Marlene Dietrich was a German actress. Then she immigrated to the US, and she was worldwide famous actress, and her opinion was that the best writer in Russian literature is Konstantin Paustovsky. And the introduction to this book in English, it's from Marlene Dietrich, and I will start with her words. Let me open the file. Unfortunately, I cannot see your comments if you leave them. Sorry for that. It's the disadvantage of horizontal video filing. So the cover of the book in English, you see The Story of Life. It's called by Konstantin Paustovsky, translated by Douglas Smith. And you see the cover, it's The painting, it's not the original painting, close to. It's called the, I mean, it's by chance, I know. And just in September this year, I visited their native place of Petrov Vodkin. Petrov Vodkin is the artist who painted this worldwide famous painting. It's called The Red Horse. The Red Horse, not swimming, by the way, not swimming. Do you know when people, they swim in a river, right? In a river or in sea. But when you bath your baby, you have a baby, you bath your baby in some reservoir, and it means that the process of bathing your baby, it's the same for this red horse. And the blue color, you see, the blue color, it's the Volga River, actually. As Petrov Vodkin, we are myself and he, Petrov Vodkin, Kuzma Petrov Vodkin, Kuzma, his name, and Petrov Vodkin, he has a double surname. Kuzma Petrov Vodkin is from Saratov region. Myself, my native city, I was born in Saratov. Что здесь происходит? Dear Akala Alan, thank you for commenting my video. I speak out loud in this stream and I want to read out loud the book by Konstantin Paustovsky. In Russian it's called Повесть о жизни, or The Story of My Life. And this is my first video. If you want, you may... Я английский не понимаю. I have nothing to do with it. Sorry. So, Kuzma Petrov Vodkin is from Saratov region. And Saratov region is the region located on the Volga River. It's quite big. It's, let's say, south region. It's not far from Moscow, 900 kilometers away. And the summer is hotter there. Winter time is the same. Summer is hotter. And the territory of the region, Saratov region, it's quite big. Right bank of the Volga River, left bank. And Kuzma Petrov Vodkin is from Khvalynsk. Khvalynsk, it's not a big city. It's quite small, cozy town in Saratov region on the left bank of the Volga River. And recently I visited Khvalynsk for the first time in my life. And I visited not only Khvalynsk itself, it's cozy with wooden houses. And I visited two museums of Kuzma Petrov Vodkin in Khvalynsk. The first museum is the house owned by Kuzma Petrov Vodkin. He bought a house for his mother. And another museum is the gallery in his honor with his paintings and the paintings by other artists in Khvalynsk. You may, by the way, watch shorts in my gallery, I mean, via my channel. There are all the films from Khvalynsk with Petrov-Vodkin house and with Petrov-Vodkin gallery. Please watch it. So the publishers of the book, or maybe it's just the cover provided by internet source, I don't know, or whether it's the official cover for Konstantin Paustovsky book. You see, it's completely different. Let's start. I talk too much. Let's start. Konstantin Paustovsky, uh, the years of his life, he was born in 1892 and he died in 1968, was born in Moscow and grew up in Ukraine, where he attended the same Kiev High School as Mikhail Bulgakov. By the way, you will meet a lot of famous people, so many great people along this book, and Paustovsky met them personally. So Paustovsky, he studied in Kiev in same gymnasium as Mikhail Bulgakov. Mikhail Bulgakov is the author, the writer who wrote Master and Margarita and other famous books. So they were the students of the same gymnasium in Kiev with the highest level of education, where he attended the same Kiev High School as Mikhail Bulgakov. His law studies at the University of Moscow were interrupted by the outbreak of World War I, and in the years that followed, he would make ends meet. Sorry, my English is not good enough. Then I will repeat my mistakes. His law studies at the University of Moscow were interrupted by the outbreak of World War I, and in the years that followed, he would make ends meet as a trolley driver. By the way, he was not a trolley driver. It's a mistake in introduction. Anyway, as a trolley driver, a paramedic, a factory worker, and a fisherman. He had begun publishing stories as early as 1911, but it was not until the 1930s that his fiction, which is often about the lives of Soviet workers, nature and events of Russian history, began to be noticed. During World War II, he served as a war correspondent and in the 1950s used his position to publish young writers as well as writers who had been suppressed during Stalin's regime. His best-known work is his autobiography, The Story of a Life, a searching 6-volume chronicle of a life touched by the often bewildering events of the 20th century. In 1965, Paustovsky was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature. Douglas Smith is a translator and historian and has written several books about Russian history. His book, Former People, The Final Days of the Russian Aristocracy, won the inaugural Pushkin House Russian Book Prize in 2013, was a BBC Radio 4 Book of the Week, and was chosen Book of the Year by Andrew Solomon in Saloon. The Story of a Life, Konstantin Paustovsky. There are 6 books inside The Story of a Life, and introduction, review, a New York Review book published by the New York Review of Books. It was published in 1945, 1946. Yes, the book was a little... sorry for that. Book. First published in the United Kingdom by Vintage Classics. I wanted to read you the introduction and the story by words by Marlene Dietrich. Introduction. In June 1964, having just alighted from her plane in Moscow, Marlene Dietrich was mobbed by reporters. The actress had arrived in the Soviet Union for a concert tour, and the press was in a fever over the chance to interview the Hollywood legend. Bombarded by questions, Dietrich replied that there was only one thing she had to say: "Tell me all you know about Konstantin Paustovsky." By the way, you know the irony about Konstantin Paustovsky is that her Marlene Dietrich admirer of Konstantin Paustovsky was so high, so impressive, but it's not the same about Russians, unfortunately. Still, Konstantin Paustovsky is not as popular as he is worth. Why? Because there is some attitude from people to his books and to his literature as he's boring. But he's not boring at all. And Marlene Dietrich was completely right. He has such a great Russian language as no one has. Let's proceed. "Tell me," Dietrich said in 1964, "tell me all you know about Konstantin Paustovsky." She replied to journalists. Dietrich had recently read a French translation of Paustovsky's novella The Telegram. By the way, I invite you to my Telegram. My Telegram channel is full of stories in Russian, but Telegram, I mean the social network Telegram, they provide translation automatic for any foreign language. So if you read Telegram in English, you just put a button to translate in English any Russian posts. I invite you to my Telegram channel, but Marlene Dietrich read the Telegram story, and it's the old meaning of Telegram. Classic, the old-fashioned Telegram, and could not stop thinking about it and its author. For the next hour, the reporters told her everything they knew about Paustovsky's Paustovsky before Dietrich finally had to end the conversation and leave for her hotel. On the night of the 13th, Dietrich performed for a gathering of writers, artists, and actors at Moscow's Central House of Writers. Before going out on stage, her interpreter came to the dressing room to tell Dietrich that Paustovsky was in the audience. By the way, in 1964, Paustovsky was quite, let's say, senior person, and he was ill, and so Dietrich was said that he would not come to meet her, but the interpreter came to the dressing room to tell Dietrich that Paustovsky was in the audience. She couldn't believe it. "That's impossible," she gasped, seized by an attack of nerves. She was unhappy with her performance that night, for the exerted herself trying to make the best possible impression on the one man in Russia she had most wanted to meet. After taking her final bow, Dietrich was instructed to wait a moment. Before she realized what was happening, there was Paustovsky slowly mounting the stairs onto the stage. Dietrich recalled later that she was so overcome with emotion she was unable to speak. All she could do to impress her admiration for Paustovsky was to fall at his feet and bow her head. So, once more, Dietrich bowed on her knees to get all her honor and admiration to Konstantin Paustovsky, the writer she thought was the best writer in Russian literature. All she could do to express her admiration for Paustovsky was to fall at his feet and bow her head. Paustovsky gently took her hands in his. The hall erupted in applause. A photographer captured the scene. By the way, I published this photograph within my Telegram channel, and I visited the museum of Konstantin Paustovsky in Moscow. It's so small museum. Unfortunately, the bigger museum of him in his honor is in small town Tarusa. Tarusa is a small, cozy, touristic old town on the Aka River. And there is a museum of Konstantin Paustovsky there. And there is just a small one in Moscow, in a wooden house in Kuzminki Park. And I saw the scene which is described in this introduction when Marlene Dietrich fall at her knees to bow Paustovsky. If you want to see this photo, just come to my Telegram channel and put it in search, and you will get it. Or you just get the picture in the internet It's up to you. By the way, they don't say it, the dress on her, on Marlene Dietrich, she was, um, mm, how to say, uh, tight dress. She was wearing the dress at fashion of that time, and the dress she was wearing was so tight with some sparkles on it. It was a light dress like Marlene Dietrich might have, like this, tight, with sparkles, with sun, with shine, and not diamonds, but at least Swarovski stones. And when she fell, the dress, it was broken suddenly, and that's why some stones, some not diamonds, but some Swarovski sparkles or jewelry, uh, it collapsed from the dress. That's why it was a little bit confusing for her, and for Skin in general. It was just impressive, right? Emotional one. Paustovsky started to help Dietrich back up when his doctor ran to the stage. "Don't even think of lifting her," he ordered. Paustovsky, now in his early 70s, had come to the concert straight from his hospital, where he had been recovering from his second heart attack. The gentleman in Paustovsky wrestled with the voice of his doctor telling him to leave Dietrich on her knees and not strain his weak heart. He stood there for a few awkward moments until help arrived and Dietrich was returned to her feet. The two spent the next several hours together talking about literature and art. "He is the best Russian writer I know," she wrote in her memories. I regret that I did not meet him earlier." The following year, Dietrich told the BBC that if she were cast away on a desert, I always confuse desert and dessert. Dessert and desert. What's the delicious food dessert and what's desert as a desert? I always confuse two words. Okay. I mean the pronunciation and the stress. Desert island and could bring only one book with her. It would be Paustovsky's The Story of a Life. You see? Only one book to an island. And it would be The Story of a Life. It's such a great book. Kind, lyric, history, culture, mindset, like a philosopher, well-being, meditation. It's like meditation for your mind, let's say, with cultural aspects. So Dietrich said that if she were cast away on a desert island and could bring only one book with her, it would be Paustovsky's The Story of a Life. At the time of her visit, Paustovsky was nearing the height of his fame. 4 years later, upon his death at the age of 76, he was not only Russia's most treasured writer of the 20th century, but according to his abitur, I've never understood that word. Obituary in the Times, perhaps the most popular and admired living Soviet writer in both Britain and the United States. Please tell me if you know Konstantin Paustovsky, by the way. As for Russians, not all of us know him, unfortunately. It is hard to exaggerate Paustovsky's stature in the 1960s. Over his long career, he wrote dozens of short stories, novels, screenplays, dramas, fairy tales, and children's books. By the way, last Sunday, I went to a music concert hall, and it was a great performance there when the short story by Konstantin Paustovsky was read out loud by a speaker. The folklore orchestra was playing the Norwegian composer, the Norwegian composer Grieg, Edvard Grieg, and the performance in music concert hall was so nice, as it was so many arts in one performance. Let me describe you. Unfortunately, I cannot provide it to you, as YouTube recently it blocked sent me their notice not to publish any content which against copyrights. So not last week, no, it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I visited on Saturday. I visited the great performance with the contemporary ballet, and it was great with dance, contemporary dance, and music. And as always, I made videos. I filmed, and the same evening I spent my time to cut a video, and it was great. The video I made with the ballet, and I uploaded the video to my channel, YouTube channel, another one, not this one, but my YouTube channel in Russian. And at night, YouTube stop. By the way, I didn't upload it simultaneously at that exact moment, but I upload the good luck to you. I respect your patience. I like your pronunciation. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But by the way, the committee who took the exam, they didn't like my pronunciation. That's why I was not taken into the course. Unfortunately, they didn't like neither my pronunciation nor my knowledge, my level of English. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, I attended contemporary ballet, and it was great. It was by young dancers, exclusive performance, and I made a great video because I cut it with all my experience. It was 11 minutes video, and I uploaded it to my YouTube channel with postpone for 10 days or so. So no one saw that video. During night time, YouTube sent me a message with notice that you get a notice. You will be completely blocked if you prohibit any copyrights again. And what I did wrong? I uploaded the video with the original music, and the copyrights to the music, as I got to know later on, it was the copyright by some Japanese studio. So after that, I decided not to make any other videos with the music, some performances. That's why I didn't upload any video for you from the performance I'm describing right now. By the way, it was the next day, but I did upload 2 videos from contemporary dance, with contemporary dance and with Paustovsky Greek and Greek music in my Telegram channel. If you want, you can come to my Telegram channel and watch all the videos from those 2 concerts. So about the concert in the music hall. In Moscow we have a lot of music halls, and one of them is the modern House of Music. House of Music is located on the Paviletsky station. On Paviletsky station, Moscow Music Hall, and there are many halls inside one building, different halls with different kinds of performances. And the performance I visited, it was a combination of different arts. First, it was music by Edvard Grieg. You know well his music, Norwegian, and next, by the way, it was played by folklore instruments. Please use copyright-free music. You can. Unfortunately, I cannot see any more your comment. You know, it's so inconvenient in horizontal stream. I don't know where to see the comment. I saw it for a second. I saw it for a second, and then it disappeared. Please put your like, by the way. Put your like for my stream. It's just for YouTube to show my stream next time. Okay, yes, I understand that no copyright music, but by the way, it's also a challenge to find it and to use it, as usually it takes me a lot of time to find the music with the same atmosphere with the video or with the message I want to transfer with my video. That's why, and by the way, I don't know where I did it many times, but later on, some problems anyway they followed. So uh, let's proceed with my description of that performance. It was the combination of music played by balalaika, you know balalaika, some folk Russian instruments, and it was the children, the story written by Konstantin Paustovsky for children, and it was about Edward Grieg himself, the composer. And the third art in that performance was the sand animation. If you know what I mean, the sand animation is when a person, a sand artist, let's say it was a woman, she was sitting at a desk with different colored sand, and by her hands, she made a cartoon. She made an animation on a glass desk, and the camera picks up the painting by sand on a big screen, and she made this the screens, the cartoon, online as long as music went on, as long as the story went on. She made the sand animation. It was like a meditation. It was, for me, it was my first experience, my first performance like that, and it was great. It was in Moscow Music Hall. I recommend it to you if you come to Moscow, or if you live in Moscow, you may visit Moscow Music Hall. By the way, it was for kids. It was the performance for kids, and there were a lot of kids in the room, but I guess that it was a little bit boring for them. But I enjoyed it a lot. I went there with my friend. We both enjoyed it a lot. So if you want to see how it was, just come to my Telegram channel, and you will see the film I made. I cut the best scenes from that performance, and it was the story by Konstantin Paustovsky about composer Edward Grieg. Okay. It is hard to exaggerate Paustovsky's stature in the 1960s. Over his long career, he wrote dozens of short stories, novels, screenplays, dramas, fairy tales, and children's books. Many of these works were made into films, and his stories served as the inspiration for 3 operas and a ballet. By the way, this information is new for me. I didn't know that. Inspiration for 3 operas, Konstantin Paustovsky, and a ballet. I didn't know that. In 1941, he wrote the script for the film Lermontov. Again, I didn't know that. With a score by Sergei Prokofiev. The work that brought him the greatest fame, however, was his epic 6-part memoir, The Story of a Life, published in the Soviet Union between 1945 and 1963. His memoir was devoured by generations of Russians, and Paustovsky himself became the object of intense fascination among his devoted fans. As I told you several times, there are not too many fans of Konstantin Paustovsky, and it's not appropriate actually. Probably my reading out loud will make you acknowledged with his art, with his literature, and you will get acquainted with his literature, and you will be a fan of him. As for me, I am a big fan of Konstantin Paustovsky. By the way, probably it's because of my character. I'm a little bit romantic, and Paustovsky was romantic, and you feel it. You feel the lyrics and romanticism. You know, in literature there are different genres, right? And there is the genre romantic novels. They are fiction. They are fiction. They are true. They are based on lives. They are based on memory, but their atmosphere, its lyrics, and romantic style. And myself, I'm romantic. That's why probably I'm within his big fans. Oh, fans, not fans, fans. In his later years, he settled in the town of Tarusa. I told you, right? Tarusa on the Aka River. By the way, once I swam in the Aka River from one bank to the other bank, and where I got out of the water from the Aka River, it was in Tarusa. And the stream in the Aka River is so fast, it's so fast river that you cannot go inside the water from one side and go in the opposite side of a bank. You need to go to dive, to go in for water upper the stream, upper the river, and then you swim in diagonal, if you understand what I mean. So you swim like this, like a triangle. That's why it was within the hiking tour. Once I did it twice. I mean, I swam swam the Aka River twice. By the way, the Aka River is quite big, but at that place in Tarusa area, it's okay. There are no big boats or big ships there. Some small boats, but motor boats, there are a lot of them there, but no big barges or ships at that place. That's why you can swim, cross swim the river. And I did it twice, and for the first time we passed by Polenova. It's famous place, cultural Probably you know the artist, the Russian artist Polenov, um, and his mansion, museum, mansion, gallery, it's called Polenova. There is a church painted by him, by Polenov himself. There are many buildings wooden around, and it's a beautiful landscape there. The nature is great. It's Mishora, Mishorsky Krai as well. No, it's not Mishora. It's not Mishora, but anyway, Tarusa and Polenova, they are beautiful on the Aka River. So probably you know that any river, it has the banks of any river, they are different. One is a high bank and the other is a low bank. So Polenova, it's located on the low bank of the Aka River, and to cross the Aka River, to swim along the Aka River and to go outside the water, in Tarusa you need to pass by Polenova, maybe 10 kilometers, proceed 10 kilometers, and if you proceed 10 kilometers up the Aka River and put your stuff into the aqua bag. Do you know what I mean? When you are on a tour along the river, or when you are kayaking, you need to pack your stuff, to pack your things into the hermetic bags, right? And when you cross the river, you do the same. You put your stuff, you put your um, things into hermetic bags. You stick a bag, you stick hermetic bag with, how to say, okay, you stick a bag to your waist, and then you just swim, you cross the river, the Aka River, and then if you swim for 1.5 kilometers, you will go out the other bank to Tarusa. Tarusa, as I mentioned, is a beautiful, cozy, old Russian town. It's famous for tourists, for Russian tourists. I'm not sure if foreigners are aware of Tarusa. As foreign tourists, you have not enough time to travel around Russia. As any tourist, we have some short term, and we need to cover so much. That's why probably not all tourists, not even rare tourists, visit Tarusa, but some of you do. I invite you to Tarusa, I can guide you there. And during summertime, there is a boat. A boat take the tourists from Tarusa to Polenova, from one bank to another, and from Polenova to Tarusa. There is a boat, a nice short river trip, the Aka River trip in Polenova and Tarusa. So Paustovsky, he in people's mind, his name is connected with two regions, with Mishora in Rязань region, Salocha, Mishora. He was living there for some years, and he was writing about that area a lot. He was a singer of Mishora area, and his name also is connected with Tarusa, as he used to live there for a long time, as there is a museum there, and he was just the writer who enjoyed Tarusa, and many other writers, by the way, they lived in Tarusa, as probably you know the composer Richter, right? Richter, as far as I remember, he lived in Tarusa, and Tsvetaeva. Look, after ending streaming, extract transcribe your video and put the transcription. How to do that? Unfortunately, again, your comment disappeared. Transcription. How to do that? Please, dear watcher, I haven't noticed your name. Please, if you be so kind, leave your comments with this advice with transcription. After streaming, you may see. No, I will not see any comments after streaming. I will see the comments, all the comments which you will put to the uploaded video. I know when I upload the video, save the stream later on, and if you leave a comment after that, I will see and read all you write there. Thank you, Abdul. Thank you very much. So about Tarusa. Tarusa is a great place, and I recommend you to go there. It's not the Moscow region. It's not Moscow region. It's by the way, the Aka River, it divides. It's a border. The Aka River, it's the border between two regions. One is Kaluga. Kaluga is a city. Another city, Tula. There are two regions on both sides of the Akari region. So Tula and Kaluga. And Tarusa, as far as I remember, is in Kaluga region, Kaluzhskaya region. So it's not as close as Sergiev Posad, but 2 hours and you will be there from Moscow. Yes, it's 2 hours destination from Moscow, Tarusa. It's a great place, and you may go there in winter and in summer. I went there in winter and I enjoyed cross-country skiing there last time, and previously I swam the Aka River. His memoir was devoted by generations of Russians, and Paustovsky himself became the object of intense fascination about his devoted fans. It's not true. It's not true at all. In his later years, he settled in the town of Tarusa, south of Moscow, where he would write the final volumes of his memoir in a small hut perched on a high bluff. When word of Paustovsky's writing had got out, crowds began gathering in a nearby field in the hope of observing the master at work. Paustovsky soon found it impossible to concentrate and had to plant a long row of trees to afford him the necessary privacy to write. But it wasn't just the writing that so endeared Paustovsky to his fellow Russians. It was his character as well. He was one of the few honest and uncompromised writers of the Soviet period. He managed not to join the Communist Party, to sign his name to any denunciation of another writer, or to sell out his talent to curry favor with Soviet officialdom. Paustovsky somehow found a way not only to survive the bloody horrors of 20th century Russia, but to live in a life of basic decency and to preserve his inner freedom against the monstrous force of totalitarianism. Konstantin Georgievich Paustovsky was born in Moscow in 1892. I guess that now I interrupt myself as my stream is almost 1 hour and a half, and it's too much actually. I guess that no one of you will cover it for 81 minutes. I will interrupt myself, and you got it right. My I have several goals. I want to improve my English. I want to get you to know Paustovsky. I want to speak out loud. And probably it will be a good experience for you and for me. And it's up to you whether to watch or I don't pretend to be a star in such a reading out loud. Anyway, you got my idea, right? And I cannot afford myself in terms of time to make a normal video and then to upload it, as it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. That's why I will do streams. I know that algorithms of YouTube will not offer it too much. I did many streams in this channel and there are no viewers for them, as I have a small channel. That's why probably, and there is one more reason why this is happening. It's because the algorithms of YouTube, they provide my videos to the same territory I am registered with my YouTube account, and I registered in Russia. That's why all my videos are offered to audience in Russia. And audience in Russia, no one, or maybe not no one, but most of the audience is not interested in my English, right? That's why there is disproportion of interests. That's why I know that I have small viewers, especially for long videos, especially for streams. but that's okay. Thank you for watching me with my long speaking. Stay tuned. Have the great weekend, and if you watch this video later on, great time, and see you next time. I hope that I will continue and that I will challenge myself with regularly reading Konstantin Paustovsky, and I guess that it needs maybe a year, or how many days, and how many months, what the period it needs, I don't know, especially in English for me, as mm, I am not a native speaker, and in Russian I speak well in Russian. Okay, thank you guys, thank you very much. By the way, the Telegram story, uh, first read by Marlene Dietrich, it's so small you can read it on your own. I recommend it to you. It's about mother. Bye bye. By the way, mother, the theme of mother, it's so close to me. It's so close to me, and right now I'm at the stage of my life when I'm not that old as the mother in the Telegram story, but my kids, they are adult, they have grown up, and they don't see me as often as I want, unfortunately. And I feel sad about that. I feel lonely sometimes. Probably that's why I'm a blogger right now. Okay, bye bye, guys. Stay tuned. Thank you for all. And please put your like. It's just for next time, for motivation. Bye bye.